everyone, Chanel here from Telecharge. I'm back at Virtual Sardi's and I've got a special guest joining me today. It is Jonathan Cable of Jersey Boys. Let's see what he's up to. Oh my God, hey Jonathan, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. So excited to be here in Sardi.
It sounds lovely. Where are you?
I'm in my parents' backyard in Ohio. So I stayed in New York for about 2.5 months. And then I got to the point where it was time to leave. And, you know, I have a brother down in Charlotte that had a new baby and I wanted to meet her. I had a teacher that I wanted to meet up with in Charleston. So I took a little road trip down south. At the same time, my mom happened to be in Myrtle Beach with some friends and she was able to drive back up to Charlotte. And so I rode back up with her. And now I'm in Ohio, just, you know, living my life and eating home cooking and just enjoying being out of the city for a little bit.
So what's your new routine look like? Or do you just wake up and it's whatever?
Well, I don't know if there's a routine. When I got here, I kind of set off on projects for my dad. We built him a garage. I mean, we built like shelving and storage area in the garage, kind of a Father's Day thing. And then I built him, or we built a workbench for him that's super sturdy. And, you know, just kind of doing some manly stuff out in the garage for my dad for Father's Day. In touch with my cast? Yeah, we have been. So, you know, backstage, a lot of companies do Dollar Friday, where you put $1 in a hat or as many dollars as you want, and you write your name on it, and there's drawing, and somebody wins. We've been doing that virtually. They found some kind of app where you do it on Facebook or something, and an app picks a winner randomly. And what we've been doing is donating half of what the pot is to Broadway Cares or a Black Lives Matter charity. They change every week depending on what we decide to do. But, you know, it's been small, but it's kind of just a nice thing that we've been trying to do, and a thing to stay together. And my roommate in New York is one of our swings. And so I've been in touch with him a fair amount. And, you know, we text back and forth. And early on in, like, I don't know, April, we did a couple of videos where, you know, there was one where it was just the four of us and Joey, who plays our Barry Belson. We all did a Sherry rendition from home.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Why don't you come on? Come on.
And it was really fun to do. And then we put together an alumni from like all of the Jersey Boys companies of history, from Australia to the UK to all of the various American companies. And we did a Who Loves You collage of all the different companies. And that was pretty cool to watch once they got it all together. They did a really good job with it. So that's how we've been kind of staying together as a family.
What do you think your character would be doing right now?
Nick Massey would probably, well, he wakes up at noon every day. He drinks the special 12-year-old brand of whiskey. So he'd probably wake up and he'd have some breakfast around 12:30, and he'd you know, hang out in his house. He'd play some music. He'd listen to some music. And probably have an early cocktail early in the afternoon. He'd start drinking. You know, he'd just hang out and be making music and be talking with his friends, and out in Jersey.
So a lot of people are really missing theater right now, especially summertime. You know, kids are out from school, a lot of families take vacations, come see shows. Do you have any like suggestions on how they could still feel like kind of fill that void a little bit, be it, you know, recommendations from books, music, anything on TV? Because, you know, people got a lot of time to watch TV right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're so lucky to live in a technologically rich time that we can go to YouTube and watch a lot of things that have been put on there. Nothing will ever compare, I don't think, even like the further we go with technology and the more we lean into digital, nothing will ever compare to sitting in a theater and having a communal experience with a group of people watching live theater, watching live human beings tell a story through acting, through music, through dance. The storytelling medium is just unlike digital. But for those of us who are missing theater, I mean, I've been doing a fair amount of YouTube diving and watching shows and listening to music, um, and I always suggest it kind of gives us a chance, a moment to go back a little bit in history and see things that maybe we haven't been exposed to. I mean, we've had what feels to me like such a renaissance of theater in the last 20 years. I mean, I moved to New York. I first went to New York in 2003 when I was, I guess 2004, when I was at the end of my freshman year of college. And I saw 17 shows in 14 days. And I just remember being blown away. And I mean, I'd never been to New York. You know, I grew up in a town of 6,000 people in the middle of Indiana, and it was kind of a culture shock. And I just remember thinking, man, I need more of this in my life. And then as I think of my last 12 years of living in New York, the rich array of shows that we've seen come through Broadway, I mean, it's really been a renaissance of wonderful theater. And I'm thinking just of musicals, but plays as well. And boy, where was I going with that? I just got excited talking about theater and how much I miss it. There's so much that we've seen in the last 20 years, but to go back and see, you know, the roots of it, to go back and watch shows that built the state of theater to what it is today, to watch shows from the 50s, to watch performances from the 60s and 70s, and to see, you know, theater, like any art, is derivative of we've come from, and it can give you a real appreciation to go back and appreciate the depth of the tradition that we're in. That's what I've been trying to do in this quiet time.
Now, you said 17 shows in 14 days. Do you remember any of the shows?
Oh yeah, the first one was Chicago, because we went there and it was part of a May term trip. Our school had May term instead of Jan term, and so we had specific tickets to like 5 shows. I think one of them was Wicked. I'm not gonna remember which ones we actually had tickets to, but I know Wicked was one of them. But we got there the first night, and my friends and I were like, well, we're not gonna not see a show on our first night in New York. So we went and got tickets to Chicago, I think at TKTS, because this was before you could get everything on your phone. So we went and waited in line. So we did that. And just like for the 2 weeks that we were there, we did a lot of TKTS, or we'd go and rush at the box office. And I want to say Caroline or Change was open. That was a performance that really struck me hard. I thought it was so beautifully directed and staged, and the music blew me away, and the performances were wonderful. Assassins, that'll always be one of my favorite experiences in a theater. That cast was wonderful, and the show is one of my favorite shows. The Avenue Q was one I'm still like processing. God, that show was so good. Jersey Boys wasn't even open yet. I think it opened the year after I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see it. The first time I saw Jersey Boys was in Chicago in 2009, and that was 2 years after I graduated from college. And so I was in Chicago seeing friends for whatever reason, and I went downtown and got a ticket to see Jersey Boys, and I was like, man, there's a fun show that I'll never be in, because I have, I'm tall, I have red hair, I don't look remotely Italian, and it's all the hair dye that I use for the show is all gone out now, but luckily I've been fortunate enough to, I think Jersey Boys, I'm biased, but it's just such a great show. The book is so good. The music is classic, and it tells a great story. I've just been so lucky to be a part of it.
What's the first thing you want to do when all of this is over with?
I want to give a lot of hugs. I don't want to receive a lot of hugs, but it's kind of a giving and a selfish thing. But oh man, yeah, I can't wait to be back in our building at New World and in rehearsal and give everyone a bunch of hugs and just, I mean, luckily I've been with my family and my parents for a couple of weeks now, so we feel comfortable giving hugs when necessary. But I mean, even just shaking hands, like, it's just so weird to meet people and to stay away from them. It defies human nature. We're such social beings. It's weird to put physical, like, nonverbal communication out there that I want to stay away from you. It just defies our instincts. So yeah, I'd like to give a bunch of hugs. And I mean, I guess I'm supposed to say I want to go see a Broadway show, but I want to be in a Broadway show so that people can come see, because my dad works for a university here in Ohio, and he was on a meeting with his president, and he was saying to a big group in the meeting that the first thing he's doing when this is all over is going to New York and seeing a Broadway show. My dad shared that with me. I thought that was pretty fun.
No, hugs has been a popular answer because, you know, we're not used to this. Last question. What would you say to people missing theater right now?
Stay patient, keep breathing. We'll be back. We'll be back in New York because it's a resilient community. It's a bunch of people that I am so proud to be a part of, and we'll be back doing what we do and shining to send hope and love all around to the people that need it.
Well, we can't wait to see you back on the stage. So Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you stay safe, happy, and healthy, and fingers crossed we'll see you sooner rather than later.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.